No smoking on an airplane. Back when I smoked cigarettes, one of the things I think I dreaded the most as a cigarette smoker was having to take a commercial airplane flight. In reality, I mean, flying is, well, first of all, these days, extremely expensive. So it is, in a way, kind of exciting. I mean, you don't, most people don't fly every day. So it is exciting to be on a plane and take off and, watch the ground disappear and you're kind of wondering where you are and you're excited about your destination and it's fun to land and, so the whole traveling thing, when you're a non-smoker, it can actually be kind of an exciting thing. A lot of times kids are excited, families are excited, especially if you're going to someplace like Disney World or, a fun destination. But when you're a cigarette smoker, the anxiety starts before you even leave home. So chances are, at least this was true for me. The first thing is you have to travel to the airport, and if you travel with other people, your family, you travel, by public transportation from your house to your airport, you can't smoke cigarettes. If you go into a big city airport and you do get dropped off, like in my case, a couple times we went to places like LaGuardia Airport in New York City. You're getting dropped off by the curb. The hustle, the bustle, your luggage, this, that. You got a couple seconds to puff a cigarette at best, because if nothing else, your family's standing there saying, "Hey, Dad, come on, we want to go," with the plane, and you're standing there trying to puff away. It's not a good thing. But once you enter the gates, and I guess these days, at least the airports that I have traveled through in recent years, they're all non-smoking facilities. Maybe there's some that still allow smoking. I'm unaware of them. But once you go through those doors, and again, these days you have generally lines. You have to get through tight security. You go through all this process. Once you're in, you're in. I mean, yes, you could go out. You're not a prisoner, but it's really unlikely. Most of the time, you're in. So all this time, anxiety is building because it's going to be a long time before you're going to be able to smoke again. I always found that by the time you'd even get through security, you're already ready for that cigarette. Then you've got to get there early for your flight. So then there's the time waiting to board, and then sometimes there's delays. And then when you finally do board, then there's the anticipation of everything. Again, that's that point where I really wanted to have a cigarette just to calm my nerves, get ready for the flight. All this anxiety, it's building, it's building. Then, you take off as you lift up. Most people, at least again, it was true for me, as a smoker, I didn't even realize just how much congestion I had in my ears and in my head. So as we began to lift off, my ear pain would just start to flare because you were just congested. I'd be feverishly chewing gum and trying to swallow, and it still would hurt. That was a real downside that nobody had told me about flying as a smoker before my first flight. So that's definitely something you want to consider if you've never flown. And then when you're in the air the whole time, I mean, where you should be looking out and saying, "Wow, look at the beautiful sun, the clouds, the sky, which city is that?" All the fun things about being in a plane. I was at least sitting there saying, "When can I smoke? When can I smoke?" I'm sure you find the same thing. And when you're landing, I mean, once you finally land and you're thinking about that cigarette, once you hit the runway, you just want them to pull up to that gate and get you off that plane so you can go out and have a cigarette. It's like almost, at that point, it's almost like nothing else matters. But you still have a ways to go. Sometimes you taxi on the runways for a bit. And my last flight, they actually had no crew because of labor shortages. They didn't have a crew ready to accept the plane at the gate. So we had to wait for like 15, 20 minutes just to pull up so somebody could hook us up and start to open the doors and that sort of thing. Again, if as a smoker, this all just fuels to that anxiety. And then again, once you get off, some of these big airports can take you a long time to get out. There's baggage you have to claim. Sometimes the baggage is not ready, and you're traveling with a family. There's 6 pieces of luggage, 5 come out, whereas the last one, again, I want a cigarette, I want a cigarette, I want a cigarette. It just builds and builds and builds. Finally, when you get out, then what about the public transportation if that's the case, taking you where you want to go? Like in cases for us, we had gone to Orlando, and now all of a sudden you find out that the next bus is leaving in a couple of minutes. You need to get out of the terminal, get on that bus and go to your resort. Do you smoke? You got a minute, maybe, So anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. It just keeps building. Now, flip that on its head. If you quit smoking, once you quit smoking, none of this is even an issue. You pull up, you're happy about your flight, you're happy about hopefully you're happy about your destination, time away with family. Maybe it's a business trip, maybe you're gonna make new contacts, maybe you're going home for a family reunion, who knows? But you're focused on what you're doing. You could get in a plane, you can enjoy the flight, you can take off, you can, fly to your destination, you can land, and none of those other concerns are haunting you. There is no anxiety having to do with smoking. It's just not an issue. I quit smoking about 15 years ago. If you want to know what I did to quit smoking, please click one of the links around this video. Please like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you as an ex-smoker.